Good morning, my friends. How's everyone this morning? I'm here with my coffee, and if you can see up here, with Jill. Last Saturday, we started out, I kept calling them Dick and Jane, which are my little shoe boxes. Excuse me, good coffee. It's my morning dose, the mushroom coffee that I drink. But anyway, I was here with Jill, and my title was could Jill eat trees, Christmas trees? And of course, that was my little joke because these were my Christmas trees. Can you see that? Oops, let me get another color that you can see against green. They're awfully tiny. Can you see that? Aren't they cute? Anyway, it was pasta that I had purchased as part of a fundraiser for the Boy Scouts. And I gave Jill here, I bought a cup. And I showed you my little old cups from when we got married. Somebody gave them to us as a shower gift. But anyway, this is really just pasta. Salmonella, salmonella. Semolina, is that it? Is that how you say that? Excuse me, I have a little frog this morning. I'm getting over a cold, and it's been a couple weeks, but you know how you still have that, in your throat. So anyway, I gave them a whole cup of it. After I turned off the camera, I did add eggshell to it. So I just wanted to check back and see what, if any, they left behind. Since then, I also went and harvested some moringa leaves, and when I bring in my moringa leaves, I go ahead and put them on my table, let them dry out. They're on a linen tablecloth. And so after a couple days in our house, they dry up enough that you can just crumble them, and then I put them through the NutriBullet, and it comes out as a powder. But the stems I keep separate. I do that with them, and they don't break down as much, but I give them to the worms. So when I remove this, you're going to see all sorts of things that you'll go, gee, that doesn't look like pasta to me. So I'm going to take this back. I'm going to go to the other side here and see if I can work from this side and turn this into itself. I'm in my kitchen, well, sort of off the kitchen. Okay, so we'll move this. I'm going to put it down here below. Hello, everybody. And you can see the worms are really looking really a little slow. I mean, they seem to like whatever. Boy, are they warm. Boy, you guys feel like you're warmer than me. They seem very happy. All right, so what I want to do is just pull back a little. Oh, and you can see here's the moringa. That's just the moringa stems. And the interesting thing is, that when you feed, I mean, this feels warm to me. And so when you feed and food starts to decompose, it actually heats up. And these were all science things that I never knew, and that I've learned from being on YouTube and having a channel and watching other people. And I think that's the main thing, is when you watch other people, you really learn a lot. Well, if you keep your eyes open. I don't know what that is. Oh, a banana. The end of a banana peel. Whenever yep, the end of a banana peel. But what I did was I laid them in there. I like to give, I guess you call it fast food and slow food. If you take your your fruits and vegetables, and you dehydrate them, and then you pulverize them, well, that really becomes a kind of a fast food. I mean, they don't really have to break that down much themselves. But if you give them the food raw, or at least, if you give it to them raw, it's going to take them longer. If you freeze it and then give it to them, it'll break down a little faster. Now here's a banana peel. Actually, it was one that was dehydrated, and I didn't pulverize it, but I stuck it in here. So it ends up that it doesn't break down as quickly because it kind of plumps back up. A coffee filter. It's only been a week. So, like I've said, I kind of don't expect a lot, because pasta is really just a little flour, a lot of flour, egg, maybe a little water. Wait, do I see something? Oh yeah, look, here they are. Can you see that? Can you see that it's a tree? And they've turned white. Yeah, look at that. I would have thought that after a week they would have started to break down. I guess this maybe looks a little dry. That's paper, I think. Or is it? I don't know. I'll have to kind of put it to the side here. Oh no, here's all of our, I think where it got wet. Yeah, look at that. Oh, cool. See, there's a red one. Oh, look at that. It's getting crumbly. Oh, it actually feels a little elastic. Must be from the egg, the protein in the egg. Is that? Sandra, help me out here. I know you know these things. Sandra is over at Nana's Worms and Garden, and she's a doctor of biology, as I recall. And Patrick is over at Vermiculture Learn by Doing. Jane is at Rockin' Worms. Trying to think of who else is really the science guys behind the whole thing. Oh yeah, look. Just a few on the top that were. There's some of them are still holding their form. And I'm in here with no gloves. But I don't have any cuts or anything today that I know of. Look at there. Yeah, just the ones on the top. That's very cool that only took a week. I'm very good worms. Look. Anne from Plant Obsessed always says that. Good worms. And she also has a wonderful channel. There's an awful lot of good people out there, and a lot of good information. A lot of good information. And I'm digging down about halfway in my depth here. And what I was kind of hoping was that this would start to dry out a little bit. I have to say, it feels gritty. You know, it's it's breaking up. It's not keeping its form. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of feels like it in the beginning, but then when you start to work with it, you can feel that it's just grittying. We'll make up words as we go along. Oh, yeah. The composition of it has changed. And we're not going to... Oh, lovely. Lovely. And as you can see, I mean, there are worms everywhere. And I'm moving all of this leathery feeling banana peels that, like I said, they have been put through the dehydrator. I put mine through at about 130, 135 degrees, something like that. And then it runs for about, maybe about 10 hours. And then it'll come out and it's dry enough that I could actually put it through the NutriBullet and make a powder out of it. And but you can see I've added some, I mean, there's still some cardboard through there. You can see that wouldn't really be ready to harvest the castings. But the worms look happy. I think the worms are happy because they're inside the house. And it's staying about 68 in here. So for red wigglers, and for blue worms too, they're just happy little campers. And when I did this last Saturday, I said, oh gee, you know, we're going to have some warm days and, you know, the worms will probably move back outside. Well, that just really never happened. You know, I every time I'd get ready to move them back out, Rick would say, well, you know, it's going into the 40s tonight. And I go, oh, poor worms. And, you know, Rick he's not a worm person, but he goes along with it. And he kind of, I won't say he taunts me, but he'll go, unless it's going to be in the 40s tonight, poor worms. So I go, okay, all right, we won't move the worm bins back out. And as I'm looking at the forecast, it looks like tonight might be warm, but then it looks like for the next 8 or 10 days, we are going to be having nights in the 40s again, and that's a little cold. Oh, look what I found. It's an avocado, the shell. Let's see if we have anybody in there. Oh yeah, just a few. We have interest. But this really falls apart. You know, you can take these shells, and I've put them in the dehydrator as well. And I mean, they just everything comes out as powder. So you know, you can make your life easier. At least I feel that. You can make your life easier by taking your fruit and dehydrating it. And so you have it in powder form. I'm just going to put some of these coffee filters down just a little lower because then they'll break down faster. And then I'm going to lay some of the bananas here, and we'll know that this was the area that's kind of been already. And then now that I have it dug up, I want to add some of the moringa to the top here. I'll just cover that over. I'm kind of unconventional in how I do it. It's like, you know, I watch other people and they're so exact in what they're doing, and I just kind of play it by ear and go, well, let's just stick it over here this time. I've always thought of this as a fun hobby. I suppose I should think of it as a science hobby, but it's just always been fun for me. So, this is what we're going to do today. This is Jill. Remember that, Peggy. This is Jill. And today, Jill's going to get another special treat. She's going to eat reindeer this week. This was another wedding present. It was a set of people obviously thought I was a crummy cook, and they kept giving me all these things for my cooking abilities, and I really did. It really did take me a long time to figure out how not to burn water. That's an old joke for people who don't understand that. Can you see those are? This was again from the Boy Scouts. They came as they're our neighbors, and they were two brothers. And the one was selling Christmas trees and the other one was selling reindeer. So, of course, I had to buy from each one because they're brothers. And so we've had these, and we tried cooking them, and they were terrible. They tasted terrible. They went from being incredibly al dente. I mean, you break a tooth on them, to they just about dissolved in the water. So we kept them for all these years. By the way, the brothers are grown now. This 15 years later. One is a fireman, and the other is a psychologist. It was great. Anyway, so I'm going to use that as my base. I'm going to put that down on the bottom, and I'm really going to kind of give dry food because whoops, wait, I shouldn't have done that first. Hang on here. Let me put down just a little bit of bedding first. There we go. And then we'll put this over here. Okay. Easy peasy, easy done. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. All right, you guys are good. And I want to try and get the worms to move from out here to in here so that I can start harvesting these two sides. And so I've got my dirty hands. I got my pasta in here. We fed on the 11th. This is now the 18th. So the 18th we're going to feed, and let's come back on the 25th, next Saturday, and see what we get. So we've got our pasta down. I'm going to add something different. And this is my shrimp shells. Sorry, can you see that? I'm making dirties here. It's my shrimp shells and fruit and veg powder, but it's mainly shrimp, which, the shrimp is their shells. No, I'm sorry. You know what? There's avocado in. Oh, yeah. There's shrimp and there's fruit and vegetable in there. I can tell from the smell. And but the shrimp shells, their shell is chitin, and so it's a bit of protein. And I wanted to mention something. I was just watching Jane over at Rock and Worms, and she made a comment about your fruit and veg powder, and I'm guilty of it too. Now, it's one thing to say you gave them a pound of fruit. If you have a big system, you could lay down 6 or 8 banana peels, and it would probably be close to a pound. You could do that in strawberry tops. You could do that in just about anything else. And your worms could handle it. It wouldn't go anaerobic on you. But if you did that if you took a pound of this is fruit and vegetable, but it's mainly fruit. This is mainly banana peels. But if I took, you can see let me just put that down. You can see all this. That's bananas that haven't, the fibers of the bananas. But I mean, this is probably a little more than 2 tablespoons full, maybe a little more than an ounce. But I'll bet that represents close to a pound of fresh fruit. And if you then went, oh, well, I'll take a cup of it and add it. Well, that's a lot. So go easy. Jane says a little goes a long way, and I have to agree with her. A little does go a long way, and I don't really think about that. And then, of course, the thing that I always forget that I'm on screen that I'm adding is my eggshell. And worms don't have teeth. We kid about Poor little things, they felt so bad. Their big lips, their bottom lip was sticking out. Well, they don't have a bottom lip, and they don't really have a stomach to grind things. They have a crop and they have a gizzard, and their mouth is kind of like it kind of it's like I guess you could say it's a big upper lip, and it kind of scoops things in. And when it scoops things in, it scoops in, you know, paper particles, dirt. It's actually taking, you know, the microbes are actually eating these things, and then the worms are eating the microbes that have all of that. And along the way, they might be pulling in just a particle of dust, egg dust. And that's helping because it's like rubbing two things against each other inside their digestive tract, into their crop, into their gizzard. And as that's rubbing against each other, it's breaking it down, and then it's passing through the rest of their system. So there you have it. So now we've done that, I'm going to give it a little bit more bedding here, and then I'm going to cover it over. Come on, wormies, join the party. There, aren't they pretty? I know, they're always pretty. Everybody, it's a Saturday morning. I think everybody's lazy. They're hoping I turn on Saturday morning. I see a few of you guys moving. Pretty little things. You should see them whenever I have a lot of aloe plants, and whoops, he said, hey, you just breathed on me. I have a lot of aloe plants, and whenever I make up the aloe gel for Rick, he uses it on any wounds that he has. He's diabetic, and those folks are always being very careful, or should be very careful about any of their wounds. And then I take the skins of the aloe, and I'll cut them up and I'll put them out, and maybe put something over on top, and then the bubble wrap. Oh my goodness, the next morning it's like a sheet of worms. And as soon as you lift the lid of the sheet of worms, then they all start, going in all different directions. It does look like a time lapse, and they're moving. So this was my Saturday chore, was to get Jill ready. I'm probably going to do the same thing with Jack. Maybe we'll do him just a little bit different. But anyway, that's probably it for me. If you have any questions about this is Jill. She's an oblong planter. It's waist high. If you can get a hold of one of these, it has one hole right down in there because it was meant to be a planter. And I've converted it into this wonderful worm bin. I do keep, I don't have a lid on it, but I do keep bubble wrap on it. And it normally sits on my back porch. Both Jack and Jill are out there. And so I'm in Florida. My normal temperatures can go up to in the 90s. Can go into the high 90s. And then the low temperatures in the winter, we can get down into 30. Not too often I've been here for decades, and but our normal, and red wigglers really like that. They'll survive 50 to 90 well. Okay. They'll go into the 90s and be stressed. They'll go into the 40s and be stressed. And by stressed, I mean they just kind of like, they slow down. That's it. They're not producing anything. So really between their happy place, like me, is in the 70s. If my temperatures are in the 70s, and I don't know what that is, Celsius, is that something like 16 to 20 or something like that, somewhere in that range, Celsius. They're happy. They'll cohabitate. They will reproduce. They'll make castings for you like mad. So all that said, I'm sorry this was such a long video. And I now have to turn off my camera with these hands. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll go and check out some of the other worm farmers who I've mentioned. And if you have any questions, please come back and come and see me again, because you know I'll be here. So garden what you've got and use what you have, and I'll see you around. Take care. Bye-bye.